I have to make a slight observation, Dr. Harris. It's beginning to sound more like a political party than a news conference, but I guess you're eager to get off the blocks. I, I know. I wanted to ask, I know you sort of went into it, but what are some of the key policies in a nutshell of the new party? And would the PLP be willing to accept people coming from the SKNLP? Is that part of your thrust? Because you're saying you're the real labor. Would you accept them coming over, or are they part of what you see as alleged corruption, alleged breaches of government?
I think we could start with the last one easily here, because many of the people here are strong-blooded labor people. So we want the people. We have no problem with the philosophy and values of labor. That is why labor is still in the name. We have a problem with Dr. Douglas' dysfunctional, autocratic, and dictatorial style of leadership. Indeed, the People's Labour Party is for all genuine believers in the philosophies and values of labor. So all of you come leave Dr. Douglas. We have room in our party for you. The policies basically are going to be people-centered. And we look, for example, at what we consider the growth drivers, tourism. We have to do a lot of work in that. And to develop a kind of tourism product in which our people have a stake, our people are benefiting. And it is not that the investor comes and he takes every area of economic activity attached to that. So we are going to look at the various niches and try to develop that. We will look at new areas of engagement because we are at an all-time low in terms of tourism arrivals relative to the comparative period I've spoken about. So will there be new areas? We must ask ourselves, with all the talk about history and the importance of that aspect of our tourism development, with all the sales that have been going on, how come none of our estates, etc., are being utilized in a way that harness that history and use in which that can bring some resources to our people? What has happened to our guest houses, which regular ordinary folks used to have in our tourism plant? Agriculture needs a new look, new investment, and serious engagement, intertwining it with the tourism sector, with the manufacturing sector, etc., etc. Because as you go agro-tourism, for example, you get into the beverage industry, you could see supplementing that the bottling industry. And we have a number of water producers on island, so that industry could be expanded, creating more jobs and more opportunities for our people. We ask ourselves, we are sufficiently advanced in terms of the production of eggs. How come as a natural complement we are not seeing any development in poultry? Those are areas in which we have to engage more. We must ask ourselves, wouldn't it be more meaningful to develop some commercial farms? So we could go back and we know that this farmer in this location will be the main supplier of limes and oranges and mangoes. Rather than the traditional way, you go up to the mountain, you find some mangoes, you find some limes, you find some something. You need people in an organized way being producing these and making a living from them. We need to resuscitate the pork industry because we gather now the men love more pork. And so we want to get our farmers involved in the production of that, with all the hygienic standards which are being required. So we'll take a fresh look at agriculture in a more people-centered way, so that our people can be part of the process and the successes of development. So when people speak about things are happening not just for foreign interests, but for local, ordinary people. That is what we are about, and that is what we want to do. And it's across not just the economic sector, but the social sectors as well. So when people are sick, they don't have to stay in JNF hospital and asking people to go to some pharmacy to buy medication to come back in the hospital, which should be saving my life. But the hospital is out of critical medication for my treatment and recovery. We have to look at that. We have to ask ourselves in a St. Kitts and Nevis, where cancer is now becoming so prevalent, how come we are not having a response from the Minister of Health? I don't know where she is, but we could say in relation to her, we need something better, a sensible program that deal with all the evolutions of health. So for example, we want Mary Charles to look better and refresh. We want the ambulance back there at the hospital. We want that to be reorganized. So these are broad levels of people-centered program in which we are going to engage with our partners as the PLP in operation. Those are some of and of course the ending of victimization. That is something really we have to end. And you ask me how easy will that be achieved? And I say easily, once you are committed to unity. Because at the unity cabinet will be those from the CCM, will be those from the People's Action Movement, will be those from the People's Labour Party representing the genuine interests of Labour people. So we say you have nothing to fear because everyone knows I fight and I fight for my people. So nobody will knock them about. And while Dr. Douglas tried to incite fear, a campaign of fear and character assassination, what is he doing to help people? He stopped their increment in the civil service without telling them. He took a decision to stop increment. And he took a decision to stop appointments. And he took the decision now, because it's election, to now go back and to appoint some people to get political support from them. These things are wrong and they need to be dealt with more transparently so workers can be treated fairly. These are the kind of policies that you will see which would enable people to flourish again, breathe the fresh air, and all those things we want to do, the term limits for the Prime Minister, so he doesn't get so arrogant that he begins to call us hogs. He doesn't threaten to sell us. Forward. These things we can end, and we can bring integrity in public life. So all the concerns people have, they can go and be dealt with by an appropriate body in an appropriate way. We have example of that Trinidad and Tobago. Integrity in public life operating since 1987. My good friend Ferry, I think at one point I heard him calling, talking about Pandey having to go and to answer to the Integrity Commission. So we have examples and good practices elsewhere. I want to say in closing though, critically important for us is that ministers of government must be in full-time service. Yeah. The minister can't be operating her or his legal practice, whether it is in civil matters or criminal matters or whatever matters. The minister must bring a clean end with her or his legal practice and be in full-term service to the people. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days per year. When they are serving you that way, they know when your roads need fixing and they don't have to wait till election time. When they are serving you that way and you come to them for a little assistance, they know how hard it is out there. And like the Prime Minister, they won't be surprised that the electricity bill are so high and you want to cry because you would have been living the realities of the people. That is going to be a change in program. They must stay and they must serve us and serve us well. And in return, they will get the reward from your continuing support and cooperation. I believe these things are going to help us. And we want most fundamentally to let St. Kitts and let our government be welcoming to all of us citizens. It doesn't matter if you are PAM. It doesn't matter if you are Labour. You are citizens first and foremost. And nobody should punish you because of your politics. I want to thank some of the people who voted for PAM in the last elections. They come here now like John Lewis and Henny, and they will be voting Harris because we are open and we are committed to that. It is about people and putting people first and our country. Thank you.